Hello and welcome to the third instalment of Sci-Fi Friday, my fiction readings. And we are reading Dial G for Gravity, the first in four Brent Bolster books. And we've got the first couple of chapters already up. So wherever you're watching or listening, be it podcast or YouTube or Substack or wherever, that's the place to find parts 1 and 2. If you look for Sci-Fi Friday, you should be able to find it. And without further ado, I will just crack on with it. Will just say that I do record these as live. This isn't going out live at the moment because that is making me a hostage to fortune somewhat. But yeah, if I will make mistakes and I'll just go back over it. And I hope you enjoy it. We've already met Brent Bolster and Raul Geeb, who abducts him. And, sorry, that's a spoiler, isn't it? Who is a Globon. So there's various alien races in this book. And then you've also met in Chapter 2 some other shenanigans going on the Globon space station. Lots and lots of characters. If you do get the book, there is a cast list. So perhaps on the Substack, I could copy that up. This is a little text post just for people to look at if they want to see the cast list, because it kind of goes into space opera territory, and you've got to have a big cast, haven't you? So, Dial G for Gravity, read by the author Michael Campling. Chapter 3, Aboard the Kreltonian Skull, Andromeda-class battlecruiser. Official status, assigned to Andalkrite Coalition Fleet. Ship's log, routine patrol of Sector 7B. Admiral North paced the bridge, his hands clasped behind his back, his restless fingers rubbing his talons across his palms, the crooked claws scraping across the scales with an incessant scraping hiss. Oh, I got that wrong already. I'm going to do that whole paragraph again. Admiral North paced the bridge, his hands clasped behind his back, his restless fingers rubbing his talons across his palms, the crooked claws scraping across the scales with an insistent scraping hiss. The officers hunched over their consoles, their stubby fingers darting over the touchscreens as they kept their heads firmly down. Thick-skinned brows furrowed in apparent concentration. All were fully occupied with their assigned tasks. All, that is, except for the science officer. Zac-3 stood upright at his post, his head turning from side to side, a bemused smirk on his thin lips as he tracked the Admiral's motion. North halted abruptly and turned his gaze on Zac-3. His rheumy eyes narrowed as he studied the science officer's expression. "Am I entertaining you, mister?" The silence on the bridge grew thick. The rest of the officers sitting rigid, their hands frozen over their screens. The ship's counsellor, Lieutenant Grolb, closed his eyes. The only sound was the faint whir of the bridge's dehumidifiers. No one breathed. But Zac-3, for whom breathing was not an option, lifted his chin. "Only mildly, Admiral. I'm afraid that if entertainment was your intention, I must report that your performance was lacking a number of the essential elements." "Really? Is that so?" North said slowly, his voice little more than a whisper. "Well, well, well." He stepped close to Zac-3, raising his gaze to look the tall science officer in the eye. "So, why then would you happen to have that moronic grin on the lifeless abomination that passes for your face?" North raised his voice to a low growl. "Did you blow a circuit or something? Did you fuse the tiny part of your robotic mind that tells you how to treat your superior officers with some respect?" Zac-3's smile faded as he seemed to realise the gravity of his situation. "No, Admiral. My neural net is completely operational, and all my circuits are functioning perfectly. I was merely observing the stress patterns in the deck, which seemed to be caused by your repeated. His voice trailed away, and his eyes went to the bolt gun on North's belt. Apparently hypnotized by the way North was stroking the weapon's gleaming handle. I apologize, Admiral, Zac 3 added, standing to attention. No offence was intended. It won't happen again, sir. Good. Good. North stepped even closer to the hapless science officer. That's all right, then. We'll say no more about it. He smiled, but just as Zac 3's shoulders relaxed, North whipped his bolt gun from its holster and aimed it at the science officer's head. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to do something about it. And unfortunately for you, if there's one thing I can't stand, it's a smart-ass robot. Zac 3's lips worked silently for a second, then, Sir, I respectfully remind you that I am not, in fact, a robot, but a cybonic life form, with the same rights as any serving officer in the Andalcrite fleet. Noted, North said, his thumb turning the slider on his bolt gun, switching it from automatic to single shot. One bolt should do the job, don't you think? Yes, Admiral, Zac 3 replied, but I calculate that the bolt would pass through my skull and cause considerable damage to the critical systems on the bridge. North nodded thoughtfully. Good point. He lowered his aim until the gun pointed squarely at Zac 3's chest, and when he pulled the trigger, the sharp crack of his weapon echoed through the bridge. For a moment, Zac 3 rocked back on his heels, blinking rapidly. Then his body slumped and he crumpled to the deck, his sturdy frame meeting the floor with a hollow thud. North smiled as he holstered his weapon. Right, that's the personnel well-being consultation dispensed with for the day. He paused to brush his hands together while mentally running down his to-do list. He'd already had a couple of crew members thrown in the brig for minor infringements of the uniform regs, and he'd breakfasted well enough, despite the inferiority of the Croatian blood sausage. What was next? Ah, yes, he thought. Start a war. He turned to address the officers. Listen up. We've been cooling our heels in this backyard. Listen up. We've been cooling our heels in this backward sector for far too long. We're heading out. We have a bold new mission with new objectives. And finally, some action. Are you ready? A chorus of agreement rang out. Aye, aye, Admiral. Excellent. North swaggered across to his chair and sat down heavily, the seat's heavy-duty springs groaning in protest beneath his bulk. North made himself comfortable, then tapped the console attached to the seat's armrest, his lips moving as he typed. Satisfied, North ran his tongue across his bared teeth. Then he sat back, his eyes alight with a savage greed. Helm, I've sent you a set of coordinates. Lay in a course and get us there as fast as you can. And on arrival, I want us fully cloaked. Lieutenant Term, the ship's senior navigation officer, activated her nav panel and went into action at the helm. Aye, Admiral. Laying in a new course now. Setting cloak for automatic deployment. Good. North chuckled under his breath. Number 1, what's our travel time? The first officer, Commander Stanch, ran a hand across his brow as he studied his console. Admiral, please be advised that those coordinates will take us very close to Earth, and under the terms of the Andalcrite Treaty with the Globons... Globons be damned, North roared. I don't give a fleck for the knock-kneed coalition and the Croatians' cosy little treaties. As of now, we fly under the colours of Andal, as is our sovereign right. And we're not headed toward Earth, we're headed to Earth. Is that understood? Yes, Admiral, Stanch said, his tone and manner brisk. a professional to the core. In that case, our journey time would be just under 13 hours. North turned in his seat to glare at his first officer. Is that in Andelian hours or Creation hours? Standard Imperial Andelian hours, of course, sir, Stant replied. In fact, Admiral, with your permission, I'll switch shipwide systems to run solely on Andelian units of measurement with immediate effect. Very good, North said, looking pointedly at the bridge's central clock, its numbers flashing past rapidly as it registered the minuscule units of time peculiar to the Creation system of timekeeping. Ever since the formation of the coalition, the entire fleet had been forced to adopt the nitpicking ways of the Creations, and he hated it with a passion bordering on insanity. And the ship's central clock, with its integrated system for time-stamping every damn thing he did, was a symbol of all that he despised. But all that was about to change. With one command, he would be free. He gestured toward the clock, his hand chopping the air, and said, "Make it slow." Sorry. There's lots of little references to other sci-fi things, and I can't help laughing at that one. Anyway, good old Trek reference. Consider it done, Admiral, Stant replied. Sir, may I request the objective of our mission to Earth? Oh, it's very simple, North replied, relaxing back into his chair and activating the hydraulic footrests. Tipping the seat back, he smiled up at the ceiling, absent-mindedly rubbing his stomach. We're going to Earth because I'm hungry. Very hungry indeed. Wow, it's into chapter 3. It would be tempting to go on and read the next chapter because that's quite a short bit, but, I think we'll try and keep them short and sweet and keep them to one chapter each. And I hope you enjoyed it. So that's from Dial G for Gravity. The ebook is should be available from public libraries. Worth checking. You might have to request it, and you can read it in Kindle Unlimited or on the Amazon Kindle store, anywhere on there. Paperback should be a bit more widely available, but I'm in the process of updating the covers and things on that. So, you want to bear with me on that a little bit. But otherwise, you can tune in to this podcast or listen on the YouTube podcasts or watch on YouTube. And you can find the sort of central hub of things is Substack, which is author Michael Campling. It's all one word, author Michael Campling.substack.com. And if you look for Sci-Fi Fridays, it's a whole section. You can subscribe to that and get an email when a new one comes out. Also, anywhere where the podcasts are available, you should be able to find it. It should all sync up. The audio should sync up with Apple Podcasts and Spotify and places like that. So wherever you are, likes, shares, all that wonderful stuff, it all helps. And, you can subscribe to YouTube, to the Substack, to the podcast, wherever. It's all very much appreciated. If you want to get the book and read along, be cool. But I do my best with the voices. I know sometimes I haven't seen the bit ahead that said, like where he said it was like a little more than a whisper, and I'd already said it, but I would have had to go back and change it. I do try to look ahead, but it's a bit harder when you're recording. So, I am Michael Campling. A lot of my sci-fi is under M Campling. There are various bits, and there will be more soon. Some of them were older books that weren't available for a while, and that they're getting republished, looking a bit snazzier. So, the Dial G for books are great fun. As you can tell, there's some references. So obviously that the Make It Slow, it was a big setup for that gag, really, wasn't it? But it's full of stuff like that, where Trek references, and if all my circuits are functioning correctly, I think you may be able to know where that's coming from. So little things like that. Yeah. And like I say, I'll try and put that cast list up because there's the Andelians, the Creations, the Globons. Well, that's it pretty much, really. And then there's obviously the Earthlings. And they're very different. They all have their own different societies and their own ways of talking and so on. But yeah, good fun. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care. Happy reading. Look after yourselves. It's Friday when I'm recording this, so I hope you have a great weekend. And there'll be more soon. Also, I'm a I slipped up this week because I was travelling, and then, I was getting over the fact that I was travelling. So I missed my Mystery Fiction Monday and my Time Travel Tuesday. I even missed Thriller Fiction Thursday, but I was determined not to miss this one. So others are available. And the way to find them all is basically that Substack or my YouTube channel. They are good places to start. Or just look for Michael Campling wherever you get your podcasts. All right, I will finally sign off this. Taking a long time going on. So, all right, take care, look after yourselves, and goodbye.